This morning we're interviewing one of our deacons, Wayne Miller, and good morning, Wayne.
Good morning, Pastor Donald.
I wanted to ask you about your background, where you grew up and your early schooling.
So I grew up in the Glen Morris area on a hobby farm in that area. So I grew up baling hay and feeding cattle and feeding pigs and all those kind of things.
So you're a farmer at heart?
A little bit.
And what about school?
So I went to school, elementary school at Glen Morris and then high school in Paris. From there, I went on to did my Bachelor of Business at Wilfrid Laurier University.
In Kitchener, or?
It's in Waterloo, so their business Waterloo, yeah. And then after that, I went through and got my certified public accounting designation. That was another 2 years after that.
Okay. What led you towards accounting and business?
In high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I thought business was nice in general, and I had some interest in it. But I had taken an accounting course in high school and didn't really like it, so I said I'm not going to do accounting. And anyways, in university, accounting was some of my top marks, and I decided I guess that's where God was directing me.
Okay. So when you graduated from university, then what?
So after I graduated from university, well, a couple things. 6 weeks later, I got married to my wife, Lisa. So that happened right away. And then I was working in public accounting for about 1.5 years. After that, I went and worked at a freight company. FTI is what they're called now. They've merged since I left there. And I worked there for about 5 years, supervising payroll department there, which was paying all the truckers and making sure they get their pays and their deductions and all those things correctly. And I managed the lease trucking program there. And then after that, I worked at TRW for a short time, and then have been at SC Johnson for almost 25 years. Okay.
And what is your role there?
So right now I'm the general accounting and tax manager. So what I do there is I'm making sure that the books are kept straight, and of course I look after all the corporate tax and all the commodity tax and all those things, and make sure everything's lined up, and we're okay with the government, and look after government audits and all those kind of things as well.
Good. Can you tell us when you became a Christian?
So I was saved when I was about 7 years old. I went to a Wednesday. I grew up going to church. At that time, we were going to church in Cambridge. There was a midweek program, and the preacher or the speaker that night was a guest speaker, and he taught about the fire and brimstone of hell. And I knew that's not what I wanted when I died. And so I came home, and my father helped lead me to the Lord that night. And but I know I was truly saved at that point, but God really wasn't really a big part of my life for quite a while after that. It wasn't until I went to university, and I joined the university group at Wilfrid Laurier University, and met some people there who were really on fire for the Lord, and learned more about serving the Lord and what that meant. And that's when God really got a hold of my heart, and I really had a much stronger personal relationship with Jesus.
Good. And when did you start coming to Central?
So my parents moved us to come to Central when I was about 10 years old. So that's 43 years ago now. So I've been coming to Central for a very long time.
And is that where you met your wife?
Yes, Lisa also attended Central. It wasn't actually at any Central events, but anyways, one thing kind of led to another, and yeah, that was during I think it was second year university that we kind of saw each other for the first time, even though we'd seen each other for many years before that.
Good. And when did you become a deacon?
So I served a 3-year term I don't remember the exact year, but it was somewhere in the around 2005. I served a 3-year term, and then I was off for a while, and then it was about 4 years ago that I started back on again.
What is your role? What is your role in the Deacons Board right now?
So I'm treasurer for the church and treasurer for Central Baptist Academy, which is part of the church. So what that really involves is looking after all the accounting procedures and managing the finances for the church and the academy. Includes making sure internal controls are in place. It makes sure I review every invoice and sign every check that goes out. I do all the budgets. I help look after tuition aid. I help look after the benevolent fund and how that gets distributed. I'm part of, as a part of the finance committee. I'm part of the CBA committee, so I get involved with general things going on in CBA as well.
And how has this pandemic affected our church finances? Do you know?
So so the offerings are down. I will say that there are a lot of people who have been very faithful and continued on to support the finances of the church, which is very important because we still want to continue to pay our pastors so they can continue to minister to us and others. Also, we need to continue to support our missionaries because they don't just, they can't just go without eating because we decide that there's a pandemic here and we don't want to give to the church. So we've been, many people have continued to be very faithful, and I'm very thankful for that. We are down about $20,000 versus last year at this point, so it has dropped off. So we hope that some people will play catch up sometime in the near future.
Good. So what would you say to the congregation this morning as you think of the way ahead? Because we have no idea how long this pandemic will last.
Yeah, so I mean, since I'm treasurer, I can't go without saying, continue to be faithful with your giving. But more importantly, we need to remember that this was not a surprise to God. God is in control of all things here. And, we need to remember that. And we can have, we can complain that we can't do this or can't do that, or this is different. But, God has designed this for one reason or another. And we just need to continue to be faithful to God and ask him for how he would have us serve us during these times.
Good. Well, thank you, Wayne. And I guess we all encourage our people to keep faithful to the Lord and be concerned for the work of God and be part of that work. And we're grateful for the part you have. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Pastor. I appreciate all your work too.